Good morning, everyone. We got a full packed house this morning. It's always good to see that in Pinches of Retirement. We're going to get the March 12th Pensions and Retirement House Committee meeting going. Let me introduce our Sergeant at Arms. We got three of them today: Russell Salisbury, John Costick, and Mark Douglas. Thank y'all for being here, taking care of us. Let me see. Pages. Where are my pages? In the back here. Just stand up if you want to call your name. Emma Lafone, Representative Chris Humphrey is her sponsor. Haley Moon, Representative Nonna McDowell White, and Campbell Price, again, Representative Chris Humphrey. Thank y'all for being here today also. With no further ado, we'll go down as we have it ordered on the agenda. House Bill 37, Representative Howard. I saw her. Yes, ma'am. Come on, let's get it going.
I got skipped. It's her, so
Before she starts, let me say, there are no PCSs. This may be the first committee meeting I've been to in years that we don't have a PCS, so this should be really easy as far as when it comes to the votes. Representative Howard.
Thank you, sir. No PCS. This is really a very, very simple bill, and it has two parts to it. Part one simply increases the monthly pension benefit for all eligible firefighters and rescue squad workers who participate in the North Carolina Firefighters and Rescue Squad Workers Pension Fund. It increases it to $180. Currently, it's $175. And the remainder of part one simply makes technical and conforming changes to the bill. And part two provides that one of the Secretary of DHHS appointees to the North Carolina Emergency Medical Service Advisory Council will represent the North Carolina State Firefighters Association, and that is effective when it becomes law. And I would appreciate your support. And I will just add this. Years ago, we've been doing this monthly benefit, $5 at the time. And when we started, I think it was $135 that many years. And they are not needing or asking for any appropriation because they have reserve in their fund. So there's no appropriation needed for this. Now, I ask for your support. Sorry. You want me to get out of the way?
Yeah, we'll get you vote. Thank you, Representative Howard. Is there any discussion or questions from the members? Representative Quick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's a reduction in secretaries' appointees. Could we get some explanation as to why there's a reduction from 6 to 5?
If we could have staff answer that. When he's prepared.
Jason Moran, Bates Legislative Analysis. I'm unaware of the policy reason behind that. I don't know, unfortunately.
Bill sponsor said it was a good thing, according to her. Any discussion on that, Representative Quick? Any other questions? Representative Ross.
Just a motion when appropriate.
Okay, gotcha. We got a couple people want to speak. Hold on one second. Is Chief Bradley able to answer maybe Representative Quick's question? If you don't mind, you he's got a mic right there to your left, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Tim Bradley. I'm Executive Director of the North Carolina State Firefighters Association. We have a membership of about 48,000 firefighters, essentially all in North Carolina. The question is to the appointee from DHHS. When we requested to add a fire service member, we didn't want to increase the number of total committee members because they had to establish quorums and majorities. So we simply requested that they change 6 general appointees to 5 to allow for 1 position on the committee. The fire service responds to probably 88% of EMS calls in North Carolina, yet the training and standards that are established for those individuals, we've never had a voice in, but more importantly than that, we really don't have a way to find out directly for our members what those changes are when they occur. That's why we requested, sir.
Great, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we got 2 people signed up. We'll give 2 minutes apiece. Mr. Sam Watts from the State Treasurer's Office. Executive Director of the Retirement System.
I'm going to let my minder go first because he.
If it's okay with the chairman, we'll just combine our time.
That's fine. Identify yourself and continue.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Colin Russell, Legislative Liaison with the Department of State Treasurer, here with Sam Watts. I would just briefly mention at the House Judiciary 1 Committee, we were here to speak in support of the bill and happy to do that again today. But I'm actually going to pass my time off to Sam Watts, my predecessor and the current head of the Retirement System Division.
Mr. Watts.
Thanks, Colin. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to make just a very couple of comments about why the Treasurer's Office is very happy to support this legislation. It took us about 10 years to get to the point where we are, and that's a good example in pension policy of how you stick to your knitting and you can get to a point where you can pay for benefit increases in a predictable and fiscally responsible manner. And 2 folks at the head of the table here had a lot to do with where we are on this specific legislation. Chairman Smith was on the pension board at that time and helped us develop the stabilization policy for contribution rates and benefits that now lead us to the point where we can say, yep, we fully endorse increasing the benefit and the money is planned for and ready to go. And Representative Howard at that time helped us rewrite this pension fund legislation. And it was a significant rewrite, a lot of back and forth. But had we not done that, we were projecting this pension fund would probably be circling the drain within 5 years after that. So she pulled it out of the fire. The pension board put some order around it, and the General Assembly had patience, and the stakeholders, the firefighters had patience, and we're in a very good spot on this, and we think that's a good object lesson to remind you when we're talking about any of the pension systems. And as the director of the retirement systems, I run 13 of them now, and so we're very happy to keep thinking and keep the long term in perspective and bring that information to you as needed.
Thank you. That's all the signups I have for House Bill 37. Any other comments or questions from the committee? Seeing none, Representative Ross.
That was well said, and I move for a favorable report on House Bill 37.
Representative Ross, move for a favorable report to House Bill 37. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill will receive a favorable report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
House Bill 137, the Gabe Torres Act. Representative Crawford.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I stand before you here today as I did 2 years ago to introduce this bill the first time. And we did get something done last session. Unfortunately, we didn't get all of it done, so that's why we're here today. This bill is also very simple, and it honors the life of Gabe Torres, Officer Gabe Torres, a fallen Raleigh police officer who was on his way to work during the tragic active shooter incident in the Headingham neighborhood in October of 2022. Officer Torres, who had just gotten into his car, heard shots, went to respond to the incident, was killed that day. And because of the way the law was written, he was not honored as having fallen in the line of duty. It's not a huge monetary benefit to families, but having that designation means a lot for those families. And I'm so grateful that 2 years ago, the House of Representatives passed this legislation as is, included it in the budget as is, and when it went through negotiations, it came out a little bit different. So the current law before we passed what we did 2 years ago had been that officers who were responding in active duty, or public safety officers, so not just law enforcement, who were actively responding to an incident or on their way to training, if they were killed on their way to responding, during responding, or on their way to training, they would be considered in line of duty death, and their family would receive that honor, that recognition, and that benefit. When I learned about what happened to Officer Torres and learned that he would not be considered in line of duty because he was on his way to work, had he been on his way to training, it would have been different. We worked together in a bipartisan way to change that, and we got it changed for the Torres family. Officer Torres is now honored as an in line of duty death. His family is honored. They have received recognition, and they've received that benefit, which has been so helpful to his family, to his wife Jasmine, and their daughter Layla. Unfortunately, it was only made active for October 13th to October 31st of 2022. So I'm here to stand before you today to ask you to please let's correct this for all of our public safety officers who put themselves in harm's way every day for us, who are never actually off duty and are always ready to respond when crisis hits, no matter where they are. So I'm hoping that we can get this done. We are fortunate that this does not happen very often. It is a very small appropriation, but when it does happen, it is devastating for our families, devastating to our communities, and we should be honoring this incredible service and these incredible sacrifices that our public safety officers make. So I stand for any questions and ask for your support of this.
Thank you, Representative Crawford. Questions or debate from the committee? Representative Quick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I first of all would like to request to make a motion at the appropriate time, and then I have a comment.
Yes, sir. Go ahead with your comments.
Thank you to Representative Crawford for continuing this, even after Officer Torres has been properly memorialized by this body. Unfortunately, on next Wednesday, we have invited the family of another officer, Officer Michael Horan, who was killed in Greensboro, North Carolina, 2 days before Christmas. And we'll have his family here on next Wednesday to honor them. His circumstances were a little bit different from Officer Torres, but I'm excited and looking forward to making this motion because, as Representative Crawford has said, to honor these men and women who leave their house expecting to come home, but not guaranteed to come home, is absolutely the right thing for us to do.
Yes, sir. Further questions or debate? We have one sign up. Chief Bradley, I think you want to speak on this one too.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tim Bradley, Executive Director of North Carolina State Firefighter Association. We stand in full support of this bill. If you think about it, during hurricanes, snowstorms, etc., many of these emergency responders are called back to duty. So covering those individuals when they're responding to duty, we feel is appropriate. So we stand in full support of the bill and thank the representative for staying on it and staying with it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other debate? If not, Representative Quick.
I make a motion that House Bill 37 be referred from the Pensions and Retirement Committee to Appropriations with a favorable recommendation.
Representative Quick moves a favorable report to House Bill 137 with referral to rules. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it. Your bill is favorably approved and heading on to its next stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
House Bill 276, Representative Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee. It's always an honor to be in front of you. Last year, North Carolina passed one of the strongest firefighter cancer bills in the nation, ensuring firefighters diagnosed with cancer receive the support they needed to fight. That bill, for your reference, was Senate Bill 319. But where it fell short, firefighters that ultimately succumb to cancer, right now their families are left without recognition and the benefits they deserve. That is why I filed House Bill 276. This bill guarantees that any firefighter who qualifies for the initial cancer benefit will also receive the line of duty death benefit if they die from their illness. If their service-related cancer and that cancer takes their life, North Carolina must honor their sacrifice. We have set aside $2 million for the next 2 years with cost estimate at $1 million annually. This small price to pay for what we're doing is the right thing to do. Passing this bill is about fairness, dignity, and keeping our commitment to those who risk everything to protect us. At this time, Mr. Chairman, with your indulgence, I would like to invite Representative Clampett up, a former firefighter, to speak on the bill.
Representative Clampett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Representative Jones, for bringing this bill forward, as well as Carnes and Kyle Hall. It's a real honor to be part of this bill, having had a 31-year career in the fire service, as we know the brotherhood with that, men and women. I am one of those cancer survivors at this time. I have had the prostate cancer directly related to the AFFF foam. We used that extensively back in the 70s. It was a magic bullet for some of the fires we had back then. And bad to say, some of y'all old heads, I know it's in here, remember those days. Sure did get our turnout gear clean, didn't it? But we had a price to pay, but we didn't know it at that time. In addition to this bill, line 7, any cancer diagnosis that qualified firefighters, is a good addition to the bill. At my station particularly, we had 7 firefighters that died and succumbed to different types of cancer. From the years that we were exposed to the different chemicals, gentlemen, the years we didn't use the air packs because it was tough to go in there and be a smoke eater, etc. We learned and changed our tactics with that. But also from the skin cancers and the other chemicals we've been exposed to, a lot of those are sleeping cancers, and at some point will rise their head up. Again, I want to thank everyone and thank you gentlemen here for showing support by being here today. Thank you again, Brenda Jones, for this. I'd appreciate your support on this bill. If you have any questions after the event, I'll be happy to address those. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions or debate from the committee? Seeing none, I think, I've been saying chief, but I guess it's Chairman or Director Bradley. I think you want to speak on this one too.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tim Bradley, Executive Director of the State Firefighter Association. And once you've been a chief, that's a term that sort of follows you around wherever you go. But again, Mr. Chairman, appreciate the opportunity. We stand in full support of this bill. Cancer is becoming one of the leading causes of line of duty death in firefighters. As Representative Clampett said, we passed, and Representative Jones, we passed a significant, or you passed a significant legislation at our request to provide a benefit for those who receive cancer. But we're continuing to see an instance of line of duty death, and while that small benefit for those that get a approved cancer, it helps them, the line of duty death obviously supports the families once they pass away. It essentially would add another 9 or 10 cancers to what's covered currently. Currently 6 are covered under line of duty death. So we thank Representative Jones Clampett for this enormous legislation. We stand in full support. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any final comments, thoughts, or debate? Hearing none, the chair will stand for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that House Bill 276 be given a favorable report.
Chairman Wheatley moves 276, House Bill 276 for a favorable report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill will get a favorable report, and no more business before this committee. We stand adjourned.